Hi, I'm Roland Woodmeckler. Hi, today I want to show you a way of making small sculptures that you can actually just sit right on your cake top, and we're just going to use a pair of ice cream cones as an internal support. And the nice thing about this is these things can be made up ahead of time. They're completely edible, and you can fill them with icing in here, or you can fill them with cake and bake cake right in, or different kinds of fillings. So they're, a real nice treat for the youngsters as well as being a nice design. You can accomplish just about any figure you might think of with this method of making miniature sculptures, and I have many of them illustrated in my book, Cone Figures for Cake Decorating. You can come up with just about anything that you might imagine and make it happen on this ice cream cone, which is just a real nice way to present an idea on a cake top. Okay, the first thing we need to do is, again, starting with 2 cones, and we use 2 cones because that makes them a little more stable. I'm going to snip this off here, just 1 cone, down to where you have about a 3/4 of an inch opening right across there. Then I'm going to set this other cone right in the top here, and I'm going to measure, just kind of eyeball it up, about 1.5 inches or so. I'm going to snip that one off right there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and fill this with buttercream today, and again, this is probably the simplest and easiest way of doing this, and I'm going to just set that right down on this baseboard, and you can leave that baseboard right with it. Set the board and everything right on your cake, and that'll keep it nice and stable, and that way the person who's receiving the cake can actually lift it off and save the design if they want to. If it's for a young child, they're probably going to eat it though. So, and we fill this up. The reason we have to fill these cones up with buttercream or icing or cake or something is that if you don't, they'll become a little bit soggy, and they'll kind of collapse on themselves. So be sure to fill those completely up. Okay, now we want to make sure this, our top part here, that's going to be the head, and we have that tilted back just a little bit like so. So this is going to be the face on this side that looks kind of up at the viewer. And so what we want to do is make sure we have this top piece down, so you don't let it just sit up here. It's got to go all the way down tight into the bottom section of that cone. And now we're going to turn on our handy dandy electric turntable. This is a nice tool. Let's put that center here. It's a nice tool to have for this kind of thing, or doing border work, that sort of thing, on wedding cakes, whatever. So I'm going to bring this around, and just what I'm doing here is just building up a base, just buttercream icing. Just going to build up the base a little bit, and I'm going to take a lot of this back off, so it doesn't matter if I get too much on here. I want to fill up any of the gaps that I have. Okay, something like this at this point. Okay, next we're going to take this, and just take your palette knife or a spatula might work, and just let this kind of come around. So something like that. Then I'm going to bring this around like so, just flatten off the top. Nice thing about these electric turntables too is you can stop them, go backwards, whatever you want. Okay, now this gives us the base for a figure, and you can do just about any kind of figure on this base, or you can make a custom base, and I have several of those illustrated in the book, different ways of making a base that's more pertinent to particular figures and so forth. Our next step is to start piping the figure, so you have to figure out what you want to make on here. You can make just about anything, little animals, even people figures, just anything you want. I think I'm going to make a little owl today, and the reason for that is it's relatively easy. It doesn't require a lot of different colors, and it's one that's very popular for graduation. So the thing you want to do, remember where the front side is. Now we're going to go to the front here. I'm just going to pipe a puff of white icing up to the front, kind of fill it out a little bit to each side. Then I'm going to go ahead and shape this with the palette knife again, just a bit, just smooth it out a little bit. Doesn't have to be real fancy or anything, just relatively smooth. Okay, our next step is to, again, this being the front, so the sides are here. So I'm going to come up one side, kind of puff out light pressure, then heavy, then come back in with lighter pressure. So light, heavy, and back in, then kind of fill up that that front part, like so. Okay, our next step here is just to shape this face. I'm just going to flatten it to the front. Basically, that's all you need to do. Again, get rid of any icing you don't need. Okay, next what we're going to do is start putting on his feathers. Now turn them around to the back here, and let's put some tail feathers first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you see I've kind of striped this too with some various shades of brown and gray and so forth. And then we're going to go and just loop on some of these feathers. Just let them kind of overlap, kind of like you would do shingles, one on top of the other. Now when you get up to the head, again, just kind of continue that same overlapping configuration for your little feathers. So our little guy looks like this at this point. So we'll turn him around and we'll put on some wings. So we're going to start with a puff up on top, come down and puff it out, bring it out, and then add like 2 or 3 little loops. So we're going to puff, bring that out, add 2 or 3 little loops to each wing, and then they're just like that. Then we'll put some little horn feathers on top. Bring it out, puff it up. Just a puff out and up, just like that. Now we're going to use a tube of black icing and just kind of outline, just kind of bring a line around, kind of draw a line around where the eyes are going to be. Like so. Okay, now with some bright yellow icing, we're going to put some color in the eye, just down like so. Just kind of bring it around, and we'll smooth that up. Again, with your palette knife, go ahead and smooth that up. Then, with your small tube of black buttercream, again, we'll put a pupil in each eye, and bring an outline around the color of the eye. At this point, we'll go ahead and put a little beak on, just with some bright orange icing. Come out and then down. The feet, we're going to come out and down. Let them kind of overlap the base, so it looks like he's kind of hanging on there. Out, down, out, down, out, down. Heavy, light pressure, heavier, then lighter as you do that. Then you got 3 little toes on each foot, like so. And we'll put a couple little pin feathers on his front here, just to dress him up a little bit.